Upon waking up from some good rest, your brain is operating at 10.5 wave cycles per second. That's close to an alpha state. In other words, your mind is closer to its peak state first thing in the morning when you wake up. There's no influence. Nothing's really invaded your mind during that point in time. So it's 100% you. It's your thoughts. The voices inside, any voices that may be there have been silenced. Essentially, you are in an alpha state of mind because it's up to you. You can point your mind in any direction at that point in time. I've heard a lot of people say before, you should be grateful. You should focus on reasons to be grateful or things to be grateful for upon waking up. They're not wrong by any means. At the same time, though, we tend to be harder on ourselves oftentimes than necessary. We are grateful for things, even if we don't actually say, oh yeah, I'm grateful for this, this, and that. Or I'm just so grateful, like, I'm really grateful. Like, you have no idea from the bottom of my heart. Or make it a point to acknowledge externally or internally for some. People will say, oh, you just take it for granted. No, that's not necessarily the case. You put on a pair of socks, you're grateful for being able to put on a pair of socks. You know what I mean? Whether you're not complaining about putting on that pair of socks. Your mind is only going to move in one or two directions at any given moment. It's either going to move toward the direction of life, abundance, heaven, having more, maturity, optimism, gratuity, beauty, positive thinking, positive self-talk, peace, calm, all things aligned on that side of the spectrum, or it's going to move in the opposite direction towards fear, doubt, misery, negative self-talk, hell and hopelessness, pessimism, subtraction, immaturity, distraction, all things aligned on that side of the spectrum. If you're not complaining, defaultably, you're moving towards the direction of gratefulness, of being grateful. Unbeknownst to yourself, your attitude hasn't changed. You're still cool, calm, and complainless. You haven't taken thought, which is essentially energy, vibrational rhythms, arithmetic patterns in your mind, and pointed it toward any other direction other than just relaxed. That same relaxed state that you were in when you woke up. You're in the greatest state you can be in. You're in a peaceful state. Peace is the greatest state a person can be in, where you're not worried about anything. You're not being influenced by anyone. You're not concerned. You're just at peace. You're in a state of stillness and neutrality, essentially a balanced state, a state of calm, a state of relax. Everything in life is to a degree. And what I mean by that, I heard Jamie Foxx recently say this in a pod.
When you look at the sign of yin and yang, that's everything in life.
It is. Everything in life is a paradox. It's paradoxical. The law of cause and effect. As above, so below. The yin and the yang. Polarity. Cause and effect. Did I say that already? Light and dark, you know what I mean? You got a positive and a negative. Like, in all of our existence, we're going to either move in the direction that we intend to move in, or defaultably, we're going to move in an opposite direction of that direction. I say that to say two things. One, you don't always need to try and rush the process or feel like the process needs to be rushed. You don't always need to feel like, unless you pushing, it ain't happening. Concurrently, you do exude a certain level of power over the process or over the outcome of the process. You hold the power to make things happen, make things move in your favor, be aligned on the proper side of the spectrum mentally, so that soma, the body, follows the subject leading and conditioning of its master, which is the mind. Remember, mind over matter. Paradoxically, learn to trust that intuitive leading internal nature, that nature that speaks inaudibly but freely, internally, and technically audibly by way of vibes, vibratorily or vibrationally. The intuitive or discerning gut feeling, gears beginning to turn, propelling you in a different direction, or trying to propel you in a different direction. For some, it kind of starts feeling like a process happening within you. Trust your process. Trusting the process is like, for some, maybe many, if not most, back in the day when you used to play video games, when Zelda was the thing, or Super Mario, and you had like this box, this inventory box of all these items that you collected as you went throughout the game. And this applies equally to my Minecraft crew, or those of you who game now in this generation, Fortnite, or any type of role play game people where you collect items. I'm just speaking from my experience, not to exclude anybody. So I'm gonna use Super Mario, for example, the third Super Mario game. You had the little flip box at the bottom of the screen, and inside of that flip box were items you collected, mushrooms, leaves. If you got the whistle or the pea, those were the major items. Like, those were the whistle was access. The whistle was like skipping. That was like overnight success in a sense. That was skipping. It was actually two of them. It was the cloud first. There was a cloud that allowed you to skip through levels. I liken the cloud to like a minor blow up, you know what I'm saying? You get a quick little level skip. That's like accumulating money really fast in a short time, you know what I mean? Not major money, but money that can maybe, it don't even have to be money. It could just be something great that happens to you in a relatively short period of time, or, you know, something unexpected that was like, yo, that was freaking epic. But yeah, for those who could remember, they had the cloud and then they had the whistle, and the whistle was better than the cloud. The whistle would allow you to skip the rap zones or skip the different worlds, skip through the different worlds altogether. So if you had one whistle, you blow that thing and it would let you access world 2 through 5 on one line. You go to world 5, you can blow a second whistle and it'll give you access to world 6 through 8. If you had 2 whistles, boom, you could go to world 8 instantly. Nearly finish the game off just like that. And for some, if not many, that's the preferred way to go through life, the spontaneous success. But there's beauty in the process. If you've ever played the game through, it's a challenge. Them levels get challenging, but there's so many cool items as well as levels on the way to the end of the game. If you go through the process, like you miss out on all the little gems, all the little frog costumes and Hammerman costume and the raccoon and all these little unique costumes and these unique little secrets and things that lie in some of these levels. That's the stuff that girthens your arsenal. Seriously, that's the stuff that like makes your arsenal fat toward the end. And you want to be holding on to a lot of them items when you get to that last world, because that last world comes with some last world challenges. That last mile, you know, just before you cross the finish line, it comes with them extreme challenges. I say that to say there's beauty in the process. There's beauty in going through each of the necessary steps. When you take your time and go through each of the necessary steps, you get to the top. Let's say you fall. You never fall back to the bottom. You never fall back to level 1. For some, if you look at the rhythm of your life, you might have slid back. You might have fell a couple times, but it's never been back to level 1. You've never fallen to your lowest point in your life. Ideally, you never will. It may seem like it, but you never will. It's never game over, because even if you do, and this is the crucial conditioning of the process, you got this arsenal of inventory that will help you to propel through each of these levels even quicker the second time around. And that's something I heard a multi-billionaire say one time. He said, you can strip me of everything, contacts, everything. He said, in 90 days, I'll have all my wealth back, because you can't take away the knowledge. You can't take away the information. You can't take away this storage of inventory I've acquired from having gone through the process. So now if you look at life in the same way, collecting all these little bits of information, all these little points of wisdom, all these different experiences, and not only that, but learning how to walk, learning how to move in a certain way, learning how to avoid certain obstacles, all of that develops your endurance. How you operate in any area of your life, ultimately, whether you know it or not, transcends into how you operate in all areas of your life. You correct one little discipline in any area of your life, it's going to strengthen all the disciplines of all areas of your life. It's going to begin to shift how you move in all areas of your life. Greatness is small things done right. You know, you see that little piece of paper on the ground next to the trash can, and instead of thinking, man, I ain't dropped that paper, I ain't picking that crap up, you actually bend over, pick it up, and put it in the trash can. That's going to shift how you move in other areas of your life. That's going to shift how you move at work. This is not for everybody, but some of you, if you be honest with yourself, you might cut corners at times doing things. You're going to begin to now not cut corners, because you're going to be thinking, damn, yo, greatness is small things done right. Let me do this thing the right way. Yeah, I'm out here freaking out. Let me do this thing the right way. Just a bit of progress every single day. That's the $1 million secret right there. Greatness is a choice. It's not a destiny. Those who choose greatness are those who put themselves in position to be chosen for greatness. What do I mean by that? If you're in a classroom and a teacher says, class, show of hands, who can answer this question? For the older generations, even people that's in school now, but I'm speaking past tense for the moment. Those that studied, they would throw their hands up real quick. Those that were confident that they could answer the question, they throw their hands up real quick. Whereas everyone else who didn't study, or maybe not didn't study, but maybe they didn't study as hard, for whatever reason, they just didn't feel as confident to be able to answer the question. They didn't raise their hand.
Right up under this desk.
Participation was solicited by the teacher in favor of the whole class. It wasn't just a specific group. Those who raised their hands put themselves in position to be chosen by the teacher. Those who raised their hands because they were confident they could answer the question, because they qualified themselves, they prepared themselves, they studied, they put in the necessary work to where inevitably when the opportunity came, they knew with certainty that they were properly prepared. That's what it means to stay ready so you never have to get ready. Many are called, few are chosen. Sorry if you were taught or if it was communicated to you like it was communicated to me that meant religion. That has nothing to do with religion, but everything to do with the individual. Because it's few that actually choose to put themselves in position to be chosen. Because to be chosen requires work. It requires grit. And anyone who tries to convince you that has to do with religion ain't really about, oh, nah.
Yo, hold that right quick.
I'm just going to leave that one right there. Not too many people are willing to do what is vitally necessary, what it takes to achieve personal greatness. For some of you, your presence is a pearl. It's valuable to have you around. You get in the mix of the wrong individuals, they'll desecrate the beauty you possess, bringing you all levels of stress. Many of you aren't depressed, you've just mentally outgrown people around you, and as a result, you feel alienated. Tune out doubt. There's no reason to have a fear of missing out. All these people you constantly see in groups, they don't hold your level of standards. They not about what you about. Stay true to your process, because for many of them, it's strictly about clout. Think about this for a second. When you go to the gym and you're putting in the reps, what is the purpose of each rep? I've observed some of the people that I've worked out with. For some of them, the purpose is simply about the clout. It's simply about, unbeknownst to them now, I'm not getting on them. It's more about being able to say that they did the 10 reps. Not what's said, but what's being communicated through their movements. I've seen people with the sloppiest form. Yeah, I almost used a different word. Trying to correct myself as well. Force themselves to get to 10, whether it be just to be able to say they got to 10 or maybe just to feel good about having been able to get to 10. The true purpose, and this is where the grit comes into play, is when you're working out, you're getting tired. Putting in them reps, your muscles are beginning to fatigue with each rep. Therefore, your form, each couple reps, sometimes unbeknownst to some, begins to slack a little bit. So the purpose is correct your form, constantly correcting your form. It's less about getting the 10 reps. That's why it's necessary to take the weight down so that reasonably you can at least get 10. But you want your purpose to be not about reaching a certain number, but about constantly correcting your form, constantly correcting the form that may have started to lack in the last rep or every few reps, depending on certain variables. Constantly improving, and then after the improvement, then taking the weight up to add more resistance, another level of resistance, just like in the game. You know, you ain't just gonna start off level 1 on the hardest level, on the hardest challenges, the hardest obstacles. You gotta start with the baseline, the fundamentals. It's all about the fundamentals. Never get fatigued by the fundamentals. The best ball player in the world never got fatigued by the fundamentals. He never got bored with the basics. He never allowed himself to focus on defeat. Never allow yourself to feel defeated by focusing your attention on defeat. Once you allow yourself to focus on defeat, you start heading a course unbeknownst to you in that direction. All of your movements, everything aligned, moves in a way that says that you're defeated. You start approaching things a little more lackluster, half-heartedly. When you approach things half-heartedly, you don't give them their full respect. You don't give them their full focus and detail. Something you love, you don't approach half-heartedly. A person you love, you shouldn't approach half-heartedly. The ideas you value in life, the ideas we value in life, we should never approach half-heartedly. The things, the people we respect or claim to respect, the things that we claim to respect should never be approached half-heartedly. Your dreams, your goals, and the things that serve as mile markers for success never should be approached half-heartedly. Patience is the key that unlocks the virtue of your soul. It's time you free yourself from outdated burdens. Time you make room for new growth that's about to occur. I'm not trying to convince you to follow me. I'm trying to persuade you to follow your own destiny. Be wise, walk in singular existence, improving upon self and not focusing on anyone else. People in proximity to you are already inspired by you. All you really need to do is focus on you. Stay in your lane and trust your process. You'll begin to realize that focus is nothing more than simply following one's course until success. When you succeed, people will look to you for guidance on how they can succeed. People love people that are beasts at what they do. They want the gems. They want the how to be a beast guide. That's what makes beasts wealthy individuals. Beasts have gone through their respective processes. Beasts have gained the knowledge. They've gained the experience. They've gained the understanding. They got the gems. Law of attraction, beasts attract people to them. Many, if not most, would love to know personally a beast and or be friends with a beast, because beasts carry with them value. Segue, the power of words. The power of words in reality is in doing what you say you're going to do. Commitment is doing what you said you would long after the mood you said it in has faded. When you do what you say you will, it's almost as if you saying what you're going to do is the command, and you actually getting that thing done births this new reality. You gain respect not only from others when you keep your word and do what you say, but you also gain more respect from yourself. You begin to trust yourself more And you develop a higher sense of confidence within yourself as a result. Because you know within yourself that if you say you're going to do something, no matter what, you're going to will yourself to do it. That's what having real power looks like. That's what being at the command center of your life, which is essentially being God over your own life, really looks like. Because you don't gain the respect of being able to influence, which is almost like subtle control over anyone else, until you first master controlling yourself. Who rightfully will respect someone that they view as out of control? I'm kind of geeked right now because I just had a realization while recording this podcast. I just had a realization, like, I literally in this podcast, and for me this is cathartic, spoke from the perspective of 3 different tenses of my mind. This is literally how my mind speaks to me, the same way that I spoke during this podcast. My subconscious mind in the beginning kicked it off, and I was like, you don't always need to rush the process or feel like the process needs to be rushed. Then my analytical brain was the explanation of the games, you know what I mean? Like, yo, Super Mario back in the day, you know how it was. Like, my analytical brain is chill, it's cool, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay. It's got more of a neutral approach. But then the conscious brain is like, nah, it's business time, yo. All focus is just simply following one's course until success. When you hear me speaking in these different tenses, these are the 3 different aspects of my brain taking control at any given point in time. Excuse me, I said brain, I meant mind. Conscious mind, 3 different tenses of mind. Is it mind? Pod fade.